Good evening and Jai Hind. Good evening and Jai Hind. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening, everyone. So, first of all, Happy New Year to all of you. Some of you are already there in the current affairs sessions. Those who are not, I wish you all a very happy New Year. And in the last week, I have given you this one task, this one essay, which was about the smarter you get, the less you speak. And I have given you 1 week time also for writing on this topic. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Now, tell me one thing, like I think many of you have tried writing this. So, of course, this was like slightly difficult because this is entire philosophical essay. This is entirely a philosophical essay, and until unless you have like practiced sufficient number of philosophical essays, it becomes quite difficult to answer it. Okay. So, good evening. Now, just tell me like how many of you have attempted this essay? I have got 15 copies. Some more copies have also been uploaded, but I have chosen 15 copies which I can show in today's session. So, just tell me one thing, how many of you have written this essay? The smarter you get, the less you speak. The smarter you speak, the less you, the smarter you get, the less you speak. Yes, this was one of the challenging essay. And let me give you like how most of the people have tried to answer this essay, how most of the people have been trying to write the essay. You have been trying to take the literal meaning out of it. You are trying to get the literal meaning of this. Okay. Many of you have written the essay just about this one part, that the smart you voice is not clear. Just tell me once if voice is properly there. Just tell me once if it is properly audible and visible to everyone. Those who are in YouTube sessions and those who are on app, just confirm me once. Is it properly audible and visible? Okay, no problem, Shine, no problem. No audio. Okay, all good, fine. So see, okay, thank you for confirming, Nishika, Shaheen and everyone. So if we look at this, what many of you have done, you have taken, you have mainly talked about the literal meaning of this essay, that the smarter you get, the less you speak. It was not about the literal meaning. It was not like it is just about speaking. When you are getting the topics like this in essay, it is a figure of speech, a metaphor. It is a metaphor. And you don't have to take it in that broader sense. Like, sorry, you don't have to take that in literal or narrow meaning of the topic, that it is only about speaking. It is not about speaking. It is not about like this topic only, that the smarter you get, the less you speak. The smart here means that it is about, the smart here, it is about wisdom. Okay. The smart here is about intellect. Okay. And speech is about like how you are acting, how you are behaving, your actions, your behavior, that is also part of it. Your actions, behavior, okay, that is part of your like speak. So speak is like your action, your behavior, how you are behaving, how you are speaking, how you are acting. That is about the broader sense of this speak. Okay. And this smart here doesn't mean that you have to get a smart in terms of let us say becoming too much of or gathering too much of bookish language. It is smart like smart is not related to your education. Smart is related to more as a person or as an entity, as a company, as a group, as a country, how it has evolved, how they have evolved. Like sometimes we also say that, like we say that this country is very smart, this country is very smart, or this company is very smart. So that is also one example which you have to understand. It is not about one person or one individual. In some of the copies, what I have seen that some of you have talked about the literal meaning about this speaking part. Some of you have also mentioned about like just Dr. Manmohan Singh, because of course this was the time when we were discussing about Dr. Manmohan Singh. So many of you have written about Dr. Manmohan Singh, his life, his tenure. That was not the demand of the essay. Remember one thing, essay is not about any individual or any one topic. If you stick to one topic, you will not be able to write 1200 words. This is the main thing. If you stick to one topic or one idea, you will not be able to write 1000 to 1200 words. So let me just give you an idea. Like suppose if we have to approach this topic, so what we will be doing here, how we can approach this, just I am sharing you one of the approaches. It's not the only approach, it is one of the approach. Okay. So like suppose if I have to write the answer for this topic, if we have to write the answer for this topic, see how we are going to proceed. In the introduction part, if we have to write, we can start with a story. Okay, we can start with a story, and let me give you an idea that how we can make this essay much more broader. Okay, how we can make this essay much more broader. Many of you are aware about cricket. Many of you are knowing one of the very famous cricketers of this present time. Okay, and his name is Jasprit Bumrah. Okay. One of the very famous cricketer in the present time is Jasprit Bumrah. Okay. So you know that, like suppose you are beginning the introduction of your essay, you can write this, that in international ODI cricket or in international cricket, there is one player, Jasprit Bumrah. He comes from a very humble background. In a time when the international cricket is filled with T20 matches, IPLs and many other such league crickets, where sledging is common, there is one creator, Jasprit Bumrah, which you will hardly find sledging someone or saying something harsh against anyone. He is not having any such fight or any such verbal spat with any of the cricketers. But he is showing his wisdom, his intellect, or he is showing his capacity through his deliveries. In the present times, while he has a smile on his face, he is one of the most feared bowlers in the entire world. With a smile on his face, he is one of the most feared cricketer on the ground. This shows that when a person is full of ability, he doesn't have to show his aggression. He don't have to show it in his actions or in his speeches or in his postures. He has to show his actual capacity or ability on the platform or on the ground where he is supposed to do it. Okay. So you might have seen that many of the bowlers who are there, they are sledging, they are like throwing the balls, they are saying something, they are trying to like divide the attention of the batsman. But Jasprit Bumrah is not doing so. You will find that he hardly speaks something. Most of the time you will find that he is having this smile on his face, and this one person who is always smiling is the one every batsman also feared. So you can start with this introduction, that there is a person who is not speaking in that manner, who is not sledging others, who is not doing any harsh actions or hurting anyone through his speech or anything. Speech here means like you are just trying to overexert yourself. So he's not overexerting himself, he's just showing his capability through his bowling, through his delivery. Okay. So this is one of the way you can start your introduction. You can mention about his abilities, you can mention about his character. This And you can mention that this shows that a person who has the ability, a person who has the real ability, is not adhering or is not going through other measures of like showing his presence or showing his special skills to anyone. He is performing there, which makes him the most feared bowler in the world. Okay. So that is one part that you can mention about with a story. You can mention about this with a story, that how we can start this. The less you speak, the smarter you get, the less you speak. You can start with another example. Many of you might have seen Sachin Tendulkar. You might have seen he was the most cool person on the ground. You have examples of MS Dhoni also. He was the coolest captain on the ground. Like, he is not showing his aggression by saying something or doing something. He is showing his aggression through his keeping. He is showing his aggression through anything. In many of the field, in football, in cricket, in badminton, in science, in administration, in governance, in any part, you can bring a story to start your introduction of the essay. That the more you are smarter, the less you speak. Okay. This is one part, how you can start the introduction. Now coming to the second part, once you have started the introduction, once we have started with this story, now coming to the second part, what you will be writing here. I will suggest that start with the examples of history. Start with this example of history. Okay. After writing this one paragraph about, it will take around 100 words to define all these things. After that, what you can say, that historically we have various examples where we have seen that smarter peoples do not speak more. Their speak is through their actions, or they show their ability. They show their ability in their field, not through their actions or not through any other just show off abilities or just show off. Okay. For example, Chanakya was one of the very famous personalities in Indian history. He visited the court of Dhananand to just warn him about Greek invasion. He was insulted by the king there, but he didn't say anything in return. He prepared a king in form of Chandragupta Maurya, who led to the end of the Nanda dynasty and also made sure that the Greeks do not invade India. So through his wisdom, he not only just replaced one of the less capable leaders from India, but also secured India from any foreign invasion. So again, we have an example that how the people who are having the wisdom, they speak less and they do more. They speak less and they do more. Okay. So you can take the example of this Chanakya. You can take the example of Chanakya. You can take the example of Dhananand and Chandragupta Maurya. And you can mention that how he changed the entire course of Indian history from there. How he changed this entire course of Indian history from there. Then you can change the paragraph. And you can mention not only in ancient India, in the modern India also, we have seen that how the nationalist leaders have used their wisdom to transform the country. Okay. They have worked in the background, they have worked in silence to build a resilient society. They have worked in silence to build a resilient and strong society. For example, when Mahatma Gandhi withdrew this non-cooperation movement in 1922, many people thought that this was the end of Indian national movement. But Gandhiji worked silently. He knew that the masses has to be energized, the masses has to be prepared for the next big national movement. He started the phase of constructive work. He started this phase of constructive work. He trained the masses for sacrifices. He trained the masses for national struggle. And then we saw that in 1930, when Mahatma Gandhi launched civil disobedience movement. This one movement shackled the roots of British Empire not only in India but across the world. So he was working in silence, and his wisdom, his intellect proved this once again, that you don't have to speak, you don't have to reply everything, you have to show with your action, you have to show with your ability. So that is second example. You can mention about the constructive years. You can mention about the constructive years of Mahatma Gandhi. That is one example. You can show the other leaders also. You can talk about Bhagat Singh also. You can talk about Bhagat Singh also. Bhagat Singh was not only just there for Bhagat Singh in history, should not be only known for that he threw a bomb or he was attacking the Britishers directly. If you read the history of Bhagat Singh, you will find that he was one of the person who worked for socialism in India. He was one of the person who worked for socialism and secularism in India. He worked for bringing more and more young people in the mainstream Indian national movement. So he was one, like Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru also have said this about Bhagat Singh, that he was the one who have awakened this manhood in us, okay, who has awakened this manhood in us. Okay. So that was his real contribution. His real contribution was not just about like throwing bombs or other things. He energized the masses of India. He was not just about action, he was an ideology which still inspires the people of India in the present times. The ideas of Bhagat Singh still inspires the people, that in young age you can be dedicated toward your nation, you can be dedicated towards your community, towards your society. Okay. So this is one part, that when you are like having that intellect, when you are having that wisdom, you are not giving too much of lengthy speeches or anything. You are showing through your actions, you are showing your capabilities, and that pays off in the later phase of time also. Okay. So you can have multiple examples from history here. You can write 2 or 3 paragraphs on this part. Okay. Then just to give you one idea, like after history, how we can proceed. Okay. You can talk about societal measures also. You can talk about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. You can talk about Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar. Okay. You all might have heard about the stories of Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, that many a times people came to meet him. And many a times it was like there is this story that someone came to meet Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar. He was doing some ordinary chores of his house. He was just doing some ordinary household works. The person who came to visit Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, he thought that since Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar is a very big name, he must be someone very much very much dynamic, very different personality. So you have multiple examples from history which you can quote to justify your essay, justify your arguments here in this essay part. Okay. Then after history, you can come to another example of polity. Okay. That after writing 2-3 paragraphs about history and all other things, or society and all, you can then move to polity. You can write that not only history, the contemporary politics or the history of modern India, or sorry, the post-independent India also tells us the story about how sticking to the core roots, sticking to the wisdom helps in the long run. Okay. Or how sticking to the core belief helps in the long run. When India became independent, many of the world leaders believed that India as a democracy could not survive for 10 to 15 years. Many people doubted India's ability to continue with universal adult franchise. But it was India's core belief in the system. It was India's core belief in constitutionalism, in equality of all the citizens. India as a country, India as a nation believed in this equality of rights, believed in universal adult franchise, and the rest is history. Today, India has completed 75 years of democracy, which have been an example for many other countries of the world. We have seen those turbulent years when within 10 years there has been formation of more than 6 to 7 coalition government, and yet there was no such major problem. Within 10 years, we have seen 6 to 7 coalition government at union level, and still democracy prevailed in the country. So this shows that if a country believes in itself, if a country is believing to the core ideas, if the people of country believe to that core ideas, if they believe in constitutionalism, they don't need others to guide them. They don't need to speak that yes, we are democratic, yes, we are in we respect the democratic ideals. We have shown to the world that how a so much diverse country can still maintain the democracy at its heart. Okay. So that will be another example, that will be another argument which you can keep here in this third part, in this part of essay. Then you can talk about other things also. You can talk about for example, international relations. For example, you can talk about IR. Okay. Here you can take another example. You can take another example and you can make it much more diverse. Take the example of China. Okay. That the international geopolitics tells us again that how a smart country behaves in the international geopolitics. While the world was largely unipolar in favor of US, there was one country which was working on itself. The country was China. It has expanded its industry. It has made it export oriented. It has done various value addition. It invested in critical minerals. And from all this, now it has accumulated so much of capital that it is able to influence each and every decision of the world geopolitics. From Panama Canal to Strait of Malacca, from Arctic to Antarctic, from space to deep oceans, China is showing its influence. So this country, which has grown to that much of power within just 40 to 50 years, this shows that how a country can smartly outwit its allies or outwit its partners or its competitors. Okay. So that is also one example where you can put in case of international relations. Okay. Then you can talk about Indian economy also. You can talk about how India has transformed in case of LPG era. You can talk about this also. You can talk about agriculture. You can talk about agriculture. You can mention that how we have shown our capability. A country which was dependent on other nations for its food has become the net exporter of food items in the world. Through its belief in green revolution, its belief in the farmers of the country, its belief in the society and the government. So you can mention that part in agriculture also. You can discuss about in detail that how we have transformed a country which was dependent on the others for basic food items is now the net exporter. Rather than that, the largest producer of many things, including vegetables and fruits, dairy products, the cereal crops, the pulses, oil, and many other things. Okay. So that is also the transformational story of India in that regard. Okay. Then you can talk about science. You can talk about science. How ISRO has outwitted its competitors. Till 1990s, till the beginning of 2000, there were so many limitations on India. There were so many limitations on India. India was not given this cryogenic technology for a long period of time. It was believed that this is a dual-use technology which can be used to develop nuclear weapons. So despite these, India believed in its capacity. India believed in its capacity of civil as well as defense, defense departments. We have seen that on one hand, ISRO has been able to develop one of the most cost efficient and successful launch vehicles of the world in form of PSLV. And at the same time, we have also developed this GSLV engine also. And on the second hand, without any external support, we have also been able to develop nuclear weapons. So they wanted us to stop for going for space missions. We have developed space missions also. We have developed nuclear weapons also. So again, the less you speak, the more you get. We were not speaking that much at that time. We were not saying to the world that we will do this, we will do that. We have shown to the world that what we are capable of. We have shown to the world with our effort that what we are capable of. We have been able to develop a very much powerful space agency also, and at the same time a very robust military system also, defense system also. So this has shown our capability. So this is one part. Like when you are talking about just the literal meaning of essay, you will not get too many points. Okay. You can talk about many other things, not about just history, science, geography, polity, economy. You can talk about society also. You can talk about house also, like your home also. You can see, like when we are having small kids in the home, you know that small kids keep on speaking and speaking and speaking and speaking. They do not they don't have that full stop. They don't have that full stop. They just keep on speaking and speaking. But you will find that those who are having that wisdom, they listen to them. Who are the smart parents? The smart parents are not those who are just telling their children what to do. The smart parents are those who are able to listen to their children, what they want to what they want to say, what they want to ask. Okay. So recently, just to give an example, a kid asked me I think 1 week ago, a small kid asked me that why the moon is not visible during the daytime. Why the moon is not visible during the daytime. Okay. So that was his question. You can see, that is the beginning of curiosity. That is the beginning of curiosity. That his question was why the moon is not visible during the daytime. Okay. So yes, you have to keep on listening to them. You have to keep on listening to them. That what they want to ask, what is their view. When you listen to them, then you will be able to, you don't have to speak more, you have to listen to them, and then you will be able to guide them better, you will be able to direct them better. So this is also one of the part. You can talk about home also, you can talk about society also. So all these things can be incorporated as part of your essay. And at the end, that was the one nugget, which you can save for the end. That at the end, we can talk about one of the very famous personalities of this present decade and the last decade also, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Okay. So at the end of the essay, when you are just about to conclude, you can mention about the story of Dr. Manmohan Singh also. So there also you can talk about, we have so many examples of prominent personalities. You can talk about Nelson Mandela also. You can talk about Manmohan Singh also. You can talk about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam also. Okay. So we have seen that throughout the times, there have been many such great personalities who were not that much of a speaker. They were more of a listener. They were more of a smarter people. So this is also something how you can end your answer. You can mention about Dr. Manmohan Singh at the end. That is one nugget which you can save in this essay. Okay. So I hope you get this idea. I hope you get this idea that how you can write this essay. I hope now you can get this. Now you get this idea that how you can write this essay. So see, whenever you are getting whenever you are getting this philosophical type of essay, do not go for the literal meaning. Do not go for the literal meaning. Go for making it much more broader. If you make it broad, then it will be much more better. Okay. Okay. So tell me, how many of you have just gone with the literal meaning? I have seen many copies which has gone just with the literal meaning. Okay. Yes, Ashutosh, please ask. Okay, Mayank, that's good. Yes, Ashutosh, you can ask your question. Yes, Sudha, if you want to give counter argument, you can also put it. If you want to give counter argument, then also you can put it. Yes, Ashutosh, yes, we are going to have this I think very soon it is going to be announced. We are going to have this we are going to have this part of current affairs special program for UPSC Prelims 2025. So it will be announced very soon about this. Okay. Shall I conclude with Jasprit Bumrah? Yes, you can mention it. You can it was one of the example. If you want to end with it, yes, you can end with it, but don't over explain. Write 2 or 3 lines only then. Not able to reach 10 pages. Yes, because what we have seen that in many of the copies, the major challenge was you were trying to write about the literal meaning of the topic. So when you try to write the literal meaning, then it will be challenging. Please define history of ISRO. I will do it one day. I'll make a video on it. Like, ISRO is one of the most inspiring agency of India. Not just India, in the world itself. That Ashutosh, if you are there in Adhyan batch, it will be there. It will be there in Adhyan batch also. It will be part of that Adhyan batch. Okay. Now, coming to some of the copies which you have submitted. Okay. This is one copy from Shri. So, in this, what we have seen that the same thing which I was explaining, that you have written about the literal meaning. You have explained just about this part, listening more. You have explained it. But see, when you are just explaining the literal meaning, you will not get that much of idea. I am not saying that this essay is wrong. I am not saying this essay is wrong, but it is just about just one simple literal explanation of the topic. Okay. So if you are writing a small essay, this is going to be a good one. But when you are writing a much more broader essay, then you will need to incorporate more points. So here what I have seen that you have talked about mainly about thinking before speaking, being perceptive of surrounding. Okay, these points are good. You have mentioned about saying what is important. Okay, then speaking less can make one smarter, including better listening. Then you have started this part where you are writing GS wise, that what are the advantages and all. So that is not required. It has to be in essay mode. Okay, so you have to stick to that literal meaning. So I think now you get the idea how you can expand it much more. Second essay which I have seen, it is from Shraddha. In this world of noise, so what you have done is you have mainly focused on Manmohan Singh. Okay, now this was one such paragraph in your essay which was quite good. I thought that from here you can pick it up in a much more better manner. Okay, you started with Manmohan Singh, that is quite fine, that is no problem at all. This paragraph which you have written, in our tradition, we do worship of Lord Ganesh, whose body appearance teaches the value of that he has a big 2 ears and one small mouth, which tells us first you should listen carefully and then you should speak. So this line which you were taking, it was quite good. It was quite good. Okay. But then you have again confined to this part, like you have mainly confined to this speaking part only. You have taken that example which was very good, like you have connected with this mythology, that part was very good. You could have connected it with many other parts in the history. You could have connected with much more broader ideas, that was the requirement. But that one paragraph was quite good. Okay. You have mentioned about certain things, like just here you have mentioned about the dark jokes which are there. You have connected with right to silence also, that is also quite fine. Okay, you have mentioned about dark jokes also in comedy and all other things, so that is also a very good example which you have taken from contemporary times, so that is also a good thing. Okay, then then you have written about this like why speaking is also important, so that counter argument which you have put, that is also fine. This one quotation which you have used, that empty vessel sounds much, yes, that is also good. Although you could have, yes, fine, if you have used here also, that is also fine. Okay, but see, the thing is, like you have stick to this one idea of speaking only. You have stick to this one idea of speaking only. Now you can like understand, even in that part, when you have just stick to the speaking, you have taken some good examples, like you have mentioned about right to silence. You have mentioned that example of Lord Ganesha having 2 ears and one small mouth. You have also talked about this dark humor or dark jokes of comedy. So these certain paragraphs which you have added, and that empty vessel sounds much, so some paragraphs were quite good. Okay, so in that part you do have that creativity, but if you take it in a broader sense, I think you will be able to write it in a much more better manner. Okay, then this is the third essay. It is from Shalini. Mr. X in his childhood was very naughty boy, always used to shout, scream, also break things around. As he grew older, he became a silent guy and also achieved his dream job. People say he have become smarter. Okay, so I think it was, I hope it was not one of your brother. Like sometimes we are too much offended by our siblings, so we try to mention them in essays. Okay. There are various factors, also values, which lead us to remain silent as we grow. Okay. Tolerance, third factor, as we grow older, we become smarter. We more observe things as we grow. Okay, fine. See, you have tried to like incorporate different dimensions, Shalini. So that is fine. You have tried to incorporate various dimensions. So that is one thing. Now I think after this session, you will get much more broader ideas where you can connect this, like although you have taken many things, like in international politics relation, there is a need for a smart decision, for which requires decision by knowledge, calm, peaceful thought. So just when you are writing this, this is your argument. When you have put an argument, then also try to validate it or authenticate it with some example. Like suppose here you are talking about in international politics relation, there is a need for a smart decision, for which requires a decision by knowledge, calm, peaceful and thoughtful mind. Okay. So here need to maintain silence and focus on work more and getting described as smart people. For example, we have this of China. Okay. So that if you are adding it, it will become a much more like the paragraph size will also increase, and you will be able to like validate your argument also. So while you are writing the argument now, Shalini, what you have to do is you have to add examples over there. So that if you do that, you will be able to like increase more words there. like you have tried to incorporate many other things, but the same thing is like in economy also you are talking, okay, in economy also you are talking, in science and technology also you are talking, okay. So in all these fields you are mentioning the arguments. Now you can add some examples so that your essay becomes descriptive also, it validates your arguments with the help of example also, and you will be able to meet the target, okay. So that is one suggestion, but overall you have tried to make it a broader essay, so good, okay. Don't ask for marks. Who was asking for marks? No marks. You can make use of case study example, no problem. Essay is your own creation. Essay is your own creation. You can make use of case studies. Marks will not be provided. I can tell you just improvement. I don't give marks. Okay. Now, coming to the next part. This one copy, name is not written here. There is a very dear friend of mine, Dinesh. He speaks very less. Everyone think he is dumb. But I know whenever he speaks, everyone gets stunned and start giving a thought to his words. All used to laugh on him, even me sometimes. I think he is introvert, but gradually I came to know that at early stage, when we learn something, we often think to share it with someone. However, as we grow and continue to learn, we understand the value of listening and observing before speaking. Okay, so very good introduction. Dinesh might get offended, but good introduction. Okay. So, okay, from here you have started this part. This statement can be defined in idea that as one acquires more wisdom and insight, they become more selective in what they choose to say. But is it really true that speaking less makes you smarter? Let's take a look into it. Let's take a look into it. Okay. Thinking rather than speaking can unlock you better insights. Sometimes silence is necessary. Silence is a great canvas for your thought. The more you talk, bigger chance, okay? Like see, again the same thing is there. Since you have focused only on this part, that speaking part, since you are focused only on a speaking part, you have like your essay is not complete. You have started with that good example of Dinesh. Okay. Then you can talk about the broader parts of essay. It is not just about speaking. That is a figure of speech. You can take it in a broader sense. You can take about actions, the way people behave, the way people speak, the way people respond to situations. Okay. So that is the speech part. This is from Shreya Shukla. Okay. This statement, the smarter you get, the less you speak, suggests that people gain knowledge and wisdom. They become more selective about what and when they speak. Okay. So again the same thing is there. See, again the same thing is there, like you have also mentioned about listening more, additional knowledge, thinking before speaking, being perceptive of surrounding, saying what too important. Okay. So generally what you have done is you have focused on this part, just speaking part. Okay. So you have added various dimensions of it. That's fine. You have added various dimensions of it. You have been able to like even write 8 pages. So I think you have written something here, something around 600 to 700 words. So you have met half of that demand. You have met half of that demand. So it is not incorrect to write in this manner. But see, the challenge with literal interpretation is you will have limited words. You will have limited words. Since you are not a philosopher, you are not dealing in that subject, it will be very much difficult for you to write. Many a times there will be repetition of the same thing. So now I think you will get this idea that how we can expand it more and more. Okay. So it is mainly about the speaking part. So I am just saying that just try to make it much more diverse. Make it not just about the speaking, make it about all other things. Okay. Then Coming to the next one, it is from Anil. During the nascent phase, when the river Koshi origins at Himalayas, okay, nice. This introduction is nice. When during the nascent phase, when the river Koshi origins at Himalaya glaciers, it is too energetic, hasty, breaking the rocks, eroding the sediments, and due to its energy, it leads the flooding in foothills of Himalayas. Also referred to as shore of Bihar, river Kosi in its juvenile phase make large-scale destruction, but soon it joins the mighty river Ganga, it becomes calm. The so-called hasty rivers, after getting merged with sacred river Ganga, becomes humble and tolerant. When it reaches the deltaic plain, it becomes a river having huge tolerance. Like Anil, till now, all the essays which I have read, this is the best introduction. This is the best introduction which you have written here about Kosi and how it merges and how its nature changes. So it's of course a very good introduction. Yeah. From here, I think many of you will get the idea. Like the way this introduction is, I am reading it again for you. During the nascent phase, when the river Kosi origins at the Himalayan glacier, it is too energetic, hasty, breaking the rocks, eroding the sediments, and due to its energy, it leads the flooding in foothills of Himalayas. Okay. Also referred to as Shore of Bihar, river Kosi in its juvenile phase makes large-scale destruction, but soon it joins the mighty river Ganga, it becomes calm. The so-called hasty river, after getting merged with sacred river Ganga, becomes humble and tolerant. When it reaches the deltaic plain, it becomes a river having huge tolerance. Okay. So this introduction which you have written, it's very good. It's very good. Okay. Similarly, likewise, any river, if a person becomes smart and experienced, he too tends to accept the difference. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's discuss the first aspect of the essay, speaking mode. Empty vessels make large noise. Fine. You have mentioned about Gandhiji himself. During the Indian freedom struggle, it was ideological influence of Gandhi that our freedom struggle turned out to be non-violent. His philosophy of truth and non-violence explains the importance of speaking less. Rather than using the force in violent terms, Gandhiji preferred moral force. Very good. Like the way you have written, it is quite good. Have been discussed the historical dimension, let us discuss the environmental dimension. Polluter pay was much a linchpin in terms of blame game, but in present context, it is not the time to blame, but time to cooperate. The Talanoa dialogue for climate change signifies the importance of debates and discussion. For yes, that is also good. The way you have talked about this evolution of nationally determined contribution, that is very good. Okay. Similarly, we have the examples from USA out of Paris Agreement and focusing on unsustainable development, where the second country, Bhutan, who talks about good governance and healthy sustainable government for achieving the happiness. Okay, fine. Economical perspective, Manmohan Singh you have mentioned, very good. Okay, in science also have mentioned. Psychological angle also have mentioned, behavioral change. The more a person is experienced, knowledge and exposure, he tends to become more humble. After being successful in Second World War, USA came with huge criticism. USA became sole responsible for such large destruction. Okay, fine, that is also good. We have mentioned about NPT related things of USA. And this conclusion is also good. Just like when the river is in the nascent phase, makes the loudest voice. Similarly, the ocean sea waves are more violent on the seashore. As the ocean becomes more deep, it becomes more calm. As the ocean becomes smarter, it becomes more calm and humble. Okay, so that conclusion is also good. Okay, so I think in this part of in this essay, Anil, you have given a very good effort. Introduction part is also quite good. The dimensions which you have added is also quite good. I think everyone will agree to this point. I think everyone will agree to this point that till now, the copies which we have seen, this is one of the best written essay. Okay, and the language, the flow of language is also quite good. Okay, so good work, Anil. Okay, coming to the next copy, this is from Chaitali. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. Wow, that's a good quotation. That's a very good quotation. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. This timeless quote by Plato captures the essence of restraint and purposeful communication. In an era dominated by constant chatter and digital noise, the value of silence and thoughtful expression has become more evident. Okay? A study by University of California suggests that average human speaks around 16,000 words a day. But how many of these words are meaningful? Okay? Consider this story. A wise monk and an impulsive traveler met on a long journey. The traveler constantly asking questions, sharing opinions and criticizing, while the monks listen in silence. Frustrated, the traveler finally demands, "Why don't you speak?" The monk replies, "Words like arrows cannot be taken back. I speak only when I am sure they will hit the right targets." This simple yet profound statement encapsulates why intelligence often leads to thoughtful silence rather than reckless speech. So that is also quite good. The correlation between intelligence and less speech, the power of silence. In personal interaction, silence can diffuse conflict and promote understanding. Restraint as a sign of wisdom. The risk of over speaking. Okay. For example, during COVID-19 pandemic, misinformation was there. Listening as a form of intelligence. Fine. Silence in the digital age. When to speak, when to be silent. Okay, fine. So see, in this essay also what we see that, like, although you have written about just a speaking part, but even after that you have been able to manage it. So it shows your command over that language. It shows your command over that language, that you are just talking about speaking only, but even in that you have been able to incorporate multiple dimensions. You have been able to add examples. So even if you are taking it in a narrow sense, then also you have been able to define it. So this essay is also very much good. This essay is also very much good. You have used some examples also. That is the real beauty of your essay. Okay. That is the real beauty of your essay. Okay. In a world increasingly dominated by noise, the ability to listen, reflect, and speak with purpose is a treatment to true intelligence. Ultimately, wisdom lies not in their quantity of words spoken, but in their quality and impact. As the monk in the story wisely says, works are like arrows. They must be aimed carefully to achieve their intended purpose. Okay. So yes, conclusion is also very right. So see, that was one thing which I was telling you in the beginning. For essay, there won't be just one approach. Even if you are going by literal sense, and if you are writing like this, it is very good. You are writing like this, you are not repeating the things, then it is quite good. Like here you have talked about multiple things: silence in the digital age, listening as a form of intelligence. Then you have mentioned the risk of over speaking. Then you have mentioned about restraint as a sign of wisdom. Personal interaction, it can diffuse conflict and promote understanding. The power of silence, the correlation between intelligence and less speech. Although some of the things are getting like repeated, like this one part, intelligence and less speech, and later on also you have mentioned the same thing, less speaking and intelligence. Okay, so some of the things are getting repeated. Otherwise, you have written a very good essay. Okay, you have talked about just a speaking part and still you have been able to maintain. So that's a very good thing. Okay. Now, coming to the next one, it is from Harsh. This is, the less men think, the more they talk. This is the beginning of the essay, quote by Montesquieu, that the less men think, the more they talk. A boy from Germany who was a loner, who preferred to be alone and was labeled as the dopey one by the family med. He was named like this because he used to speak very less. Later, the same boy became one of the most renowned scientists of the century. The boy was Albert Einstein, who was known for his famous and important theories. Very good. Okay. So that introduction which you have mentioned, it is quite good. Okay. Further, it was observed by many scientists and scholars that mostly those who speak less tends to be more creative and intelligent. Okay, you have mentioned about Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, fine. Then, moreover, this idea of speaking less, not just limited to humans, but larger level, countries which are having more technological and other developments like China, Switzerland. Here, China is a contender of world superpower and Switzerland is very ahead in scientific and human development, proving the point that a smartness in some way or the other leads to less expressiveness. So yes, that is also fine. Further, at the spiritual level, also it is advocated that you should speak less in order to sharpen the understanding. Okay, you have mentioned example about Buddhism, you have connected to religion, that is also fine. Okay, then you have mentioned about like what can be the challenges with respect to less speaking, fine. Dalai Lama also says that if you speak, you can only speak what you know, but when you listen, you can learn what you don't know. See, Harsh, do one thing, like when you are mentioning about one individual or two individual, it's fine. But when you repeat that for many, it will be like giving a summary of what people are saying. It will not be essay. It will be more like summary of other things. Like when you have mentioned about religion, fine. When you mention about one personality, fine. But then you can have to move to other dimensions. You have to move to other dimensions. Okay. So although you have tried to incorporate a few, like introduction was quite good. Some of the paragraphs which you have written, they are also quite good. Okay. Try to like give more dimension. Like later on, what I see that in the later part of the essay, you have just focused about religion and some people. So that is one sticking point there. You have talked about countries, you have talked about technology, you can talk about many more other things also. You can talk about agriculture, you can talk about economy, you can talk about science, you can talk about many other things also in the same essay. Okay. So this is also one thing which you can incorporate, Harsh. Okay. Then this is from Divyanchal. There is a popular saying, silence is the most powerful weapon of the wise. Okay. In this essay, we will discuss how increasing intelligence and knowledge throughout history. We see many examples of wise leaders. You have mentioned about Socrates. Okay. Similarly, in many Eastern philosophy, the concept of silence is revered. Buddhist teaching. See, again, this one thing is, although you have added multiple dimensions, you have added dimensions from economy also, you have added dimensions from religion also, but again, you are confining to that part of speaking. Okay. You have mentioned the social media overload, that is fine. This part which you have mentioned, business negotiation, that is also fine. Okay. Smarter individuals recognize silence, inclusive society, politically leaders, political also you have mentioned, diplomatic conduct, fine. Philosophically also you have mentioned, the smarter you get, the less you speak. From an ethical standpoint also you have mentioned. Okay, so this part is good that you have tried to take many such dimension. So that is one of the good point which you have taken. Okay. Ultimately, the main thing is like all of you have got this idea that when we are talking about this essay writing, now you have seen multiple copies. You have seen multiple copies. You have seen that how you can explore this. How you can explore this. First thing is you have to take multiple dimension. You have to take multiple dimensions, and you don't have to go just by the literal meaning. You can make it much more broader. Even if you are going by the literal meaning, you have to first make this entire structure, that how you are going to plan for the next 12 or 14 paragraph. So that is one thing for which you have to be prepared, for which you have to prepare yourself. Okay. So this is the core idea of writing a philosophical essay. I hope you get the point. I hope you got the point. Okay. So see, so for the present time, like for January, since we have already started with this, we are already in the new year in January, and this is the time when we are going to focus more on prelims. So for some time we are going to like for this portion, for this month, it will be the last session for your answer writing. Okay. Again, after the prelims, we will try to resume this session where we will have much more regular sessions on this answer writing. Okay. In our current affair classes, from time to time, we will try to like incorporate some of the answer writing part. But for this portion, it will be our last session on answer writing. Okay. I hope that it has helped you. Nishika, I have checked many of your copies, so just let me see if we have got the copy here. Yes, this is your copy, I think. Once an ignorant person, just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so just see one copy. Once an ignorant person abused Buddha, the Buddha listened on silently, and when person had ended his abuse, the Buddha asked him, "My friend, if a person does not accept a present, what will happen to it?" His adversary replied, "It remains with the person who has offered it." The Buddha then said, "My friend, I don't accept your abuse." This whole incident shows the smartness of Buddha, that how he fight the evil by his goodness, hatred by love, and refused to be provoked by abuse. He maintained his poise and calm under difficult circumstances and tackled this opponent with wit and presence of mind. Hence, it is truly said that a wise man first thinks and then speaks, and a fool speaks first and then thinks. Okay. So this introduction part is very good. The way you have started this introduction, it is quite good. Okay. Now the question arises, who is a smart person? Okay. What if he lacks ethical values and everything? Okay, then you have mentioned about personalities. Fine. A good listener is a good speaker. A smart person believes in implementation rather than just talking. As ounce of practice is worth 1,000 words. Fine. Since family played an important role in inculcating ethical values in children from childhood, if children get correct guidance, he will evolve in ethical and a smart person who can play an important role. See, there is one just simple challenge, Nishika, that while you are writing, your focus has shifted more on ethical values. Like in the previous part also, and in this part also, your focus has shifted more on ethical values. Okay, it like you have focused more on ethical values. Even here, if you have incorporated that part, that how the families can inculcate it, how the families can inculcate it in their child, that would have been one example of connecting with this topic, how the families can inculcate it. You have mentioned that families should inculcate it, but you can focus on how it can be done. Okay, so that will connect you more closely with the demand of the topic. Then you have mentioned about this, yes, this part is very good. This part you have mentioned, like about the administrator, in administration, how this can be applied. Okay, this is the duty of civil servant or a public servant to serve people by practicing and taking essential steps. Okay, since he is a role model for the society, there is a social influencer. He is a social influencer who should influence people by demonstrating, adapting, be the change. Okay, so that is fine. That is fine. In political spheres, leaders and elected representatives should bring in practice all the promises. Okay, the late former Prime Minister of India, for whom this quote, "The smarter you get, the less you speak," was used, as he is known for silence, but he just silent. Don't use this word. Don't use this word that he's a silent killer in reality. Okay, he really took some bold steps, which. So don't use this word, otherwise the intent which you want to mention, that is fine, but don't use this word. Okay. Indian economy in first time a $1 trillion economy in 2007. He was then finance minister. Okay, fine. India since independence showed its excellence at global stage several times, about climate change or phasing out non-renewables or about nuclear disarmament. On one side, where developed nations are unable to contribute funds for developing and underdeveloped countries as a historical responsibility, contributing carbon in atmosphere. On other hand, India accepted its present responsibility as its third largest emitter. Okay, fine. That is also good. This point which you have mentioned about environment, that is quite good. Okay, India has achieved additional carbon sink, fine. See, when you have mentioned it here, that is itself fine. That you have mentioned it here, that is more than sufficient. You don't have to write a special paragraph for this one, that India has achieved this carbon sink. Then it will become GS type thing. Okay. So once you have mentioned some example here, it is fine. It is fine. Okay. India not only claiming becoming the third largest economy, but also have continuous growth rate, developing at faster pace, looking towards India for reinstating peace in Russia-Ukraine crisis. Okay. India is not only recommending but also adopted it. Land boundary agreement between India and Bangladesh, fine. India is also having continuous all-party talk with Northeast separatists and insurgents, as India firmly believes in dispute should be resolved in a room, not on a ground, fine. So while you are writing this point, dispute should be resolved in room, not in a ground, write a few more things. That India believes that this war is a war-like situation is not going to help anyone. Okay, so you can elaborate it a little bit more. You can elaborate it a little bit more that wars will always have some repercussions in the future. It will create some anonymity in the society. So you can elaborate it a little bit more. You have given this idea, dispute should be resolved in a room, not in a ground. So elaborate this a little bit more. Okay. In today's world, every society wants Ram Raj, but no one is following the principles. No one is following his principles. In Sita Swambar, when no king able to even shake the bow, and everyone questioning and abusing King Janak, he went and held the bow in his hand. This shows he was not one who criticized the king, but one who performs his duties very well. Hence, a smart person is always focused on performing his duties rather than debating therefore. Perform more, speak less. In the conclusion, you can do one more thing. Like while you are mentioning about this, just to give you an idea, although what you have written is also very much fine. But if you look at the mythology, if you look at this whole incidence of Ramayana, in the Sita Swambar, if you have seen those, like Ramayana was also there on TVs, okay, televisions also. You might have seen that those who attended the Swambars, many of them were very powerful kings. So they were very much like speaking that I am this much powerful. They were shouting and all, while Lord Ram was sitting very much calmly. Very much calmly. And when he was asked by his guru, then he just followed his direction, and without making any noise, without making any hasty claims, he was able to lift, not just lift, but break that bow also. Okay. So this is one part which shows that those who are much more capable, they speak less, they do more. Or then you can write this: perform more, speak less. Okay. So that way you can also end. Although the one which you have written is also fine, but then you can incorporate that Swambar part. Okay, that how all other kings were like, especially that in our mythology, what we have seen, that whenever the asurs are shown there, you may have seen that their laughter is something which is very much funny. I think all of you know how the Rakshas and all, how they used to laugh, how they used to boast about themselves. Okay, while in the same incidents, you will find that Lord Ram was sitting calmly, and then he was able to lift not just the bow, but also he broke it down. Okay. So that shows his capacity. While he was not boasting or speaking about himself, he was there with all the capabilities. Okay. So I think you know that. Okay. So this will be one more thing. Okay. Now what I was telling you, that for the present time, this will be our last class, but we will definitely meet for more sessions in the future for answer writing also. Okay. Just tell me a few things, like how has been your experience in the last 17-18 classes? In the last 17 to 18 classes, I hope that you have learned something about answer writing. Okay. I hope you have been able to improve your answers in GS papers also, ethics paper also, and essay. Yes, about prelims. Yes, about prelims, Mayank. Very soon, like I think by the end of this week. Okay, this is the end of the week. So by next Monday, I think by next Monday or Tuesday, we will be announcing something definitely for prelims. Okay, we are just finalizing something, so we will definitely like come with some initiative for prelims. Don't worry. Meanwhile, we are already having this one thing for prelims, that in current affairs session, we are taking some of the probable questions of different subjects. We have almost completed like 8 to 9 months of current affairs related to science and technology in the current affair classes. Okay, and at the same time, we are going to start with environment and economy question in the current affairs session also. Plus, for prelims, we will definitely have something specific for PT 2025. Meanwhile, all other programs will continue to go. Okay, so now that will be the final session in answer writing. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining these sessions, and in other sessions we will continue to meet. Like on Monday, we will again have the current affairs sessions. So where there also we are trying to solve 7 to 8 questions on daily basis. so that your practice can be there in a regular manner. Okay. That is one thing which we are doing. We will do many more things for prelims 2025. Okay. Thank you everyone. For those, like, just one thing, like, yes, it has been like challenging for us also. We have not been able to see sometimes many of the copies, so I apologize for that on behalf of everyone. Okay, so I hope this helps you. Thank you so much everyone, and keep on practicing. This is not the part when you will stop writing the mains answer. I expect that till Feb 2024, sorry 25, till the next 60 days, for the next 60 days, you can continue to write 1 or 2 answers on daily basis. Okay, even up to March, you can continue 1 answer, because when you leave that practice, I think you will find the challenge. Okay, in these sessions, especially in the first 5 to 6 sessions, I have focused on one aspect. I have focused on just this one aspect, that how you should be writing the introduction, how you should be writing the conclusion, how you should be focusing on the different demand of the question. So if you are ever facing the doubt, just go through the initial 5 to 6 sessions. Then we had separate sessions on ethics also. We had sessions on essay writing also. So just go through those sessions. If you ever face the difficulty, like here also we have in the beginning of the session, we have talked about this, that if you're facing a essay like topic, how you will be approaching it. Okay, so just go through these sessions whenever you are facing the doubt, whenever you are facing some challenge. Okay, and you will get the answer there. Okay, so thank you everyone, all the best, good night and take care. Thank you.